The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shay's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shay's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shay's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Good evening, everybody. TGIF as always. I hope everybody's doing good. It's been a long week, but I have great news. The beautiful, talented, the awesome Kelly McCarville is back with us this week.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. We're going to take turns having energy tonight because we're both tired.
Between the two of us, we have half a person's energy. So we're good.
Yeah.
Going to be golden.
Hey, I forgot to tell you before we went on air, Kelly. You'll be proud of me. I behaved last week while you were gone. I was a good girl.
I don't believe that for a second.
Yep, I'm telling you.
No, don't believe it.
Yep.
Is it because you know Christmas is coming and you want Santa to bring you presents?
Yes.
Is that what's going on?
That's exactly.
I can't think of any other reason you'd be good.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to scare the guest.
You were on the show, right?
I was on the show, yes. I was very good. It was Ashley's first podcast, so I promised I'd behave. But I was still crazy. I'm me, but I was behaved.
Yeah. So. See, that's what I thought, Darren. She's pulling my finger. She's telling me lies. She's fibbing.
All right, I was good for me.
But that bar is set so ridiculously low. I mean, let's be fair.
Hey, at least I'm entertaining. If nothing else, I am entertaining. That's why I get away with doing the show in my pajamas. Yes. All right. On that note, I'm very excited tonight. Tonight we have Missy and Richie from Paranormal 5. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
Good. So I've wanted you guys on the show for so long, and it just worked out coincidentally with everything coming up, and I had a free night, and I was like, boom, finally.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Just worked its way
out. We appreciate it. We really do.
Yeah.
Destiny.
That's right. Let's start off with your team. You want to explain how you got into the paranormal and how the team came about?
Sure, go for it.
Oh, I'm going to go first.
I'll let you kick off.
Oh, man. It always makes me go first, and I get so nervous at these things. So Paranormal 5... So Paranormal 5 is made up of me and Richie and our 3 kids. We do have younger kids. They're 10, 7, and 5. I had to kind of remember ages really quickly.
Changes rapidly.
I know it does. It goes by so fast. But I've always been into the paranormal ever since I can remember, just having minor experiences like feeling senses, and just kind of growing up, and just my parents kind of loved the idea of being my hobby, and they kind of went along with it and supported it. And I'm kind of doing that with my children. And once me and Richie met, back when we first started dating, he knew that it was something that I was passionate about, and he kind of dived a little bit deeper into it. And here we are 11 years later and 3 kids.
Yeah, right.
And we're doing it together as a family.
Yeah,
So
to kind of piggyback off what Missy said, I was, as a kid, I definitely had an interest. Not necessarily, I didn't know what it was, so it wasn't necessarily paranormal based, but I was really intrigued by just what comes next in the afterlife and what it all meant. And, I didn't grow up in a family where, it was something that you talked about, or, it was always just kind of swept under the rug. And so, when Missy and I met, realizing her love for this, it really allowed me to kind of dive back into it and start seeking out some of these, answers to some of these questions that I may have had. And then, like Missy said, it's something that all 3 of our kids have just, naturally shown interest in, obviously because of our interest. And we kind of eat, live, breathe it, and it's all around us at all times. So, they just kind of picked up on it, and it's something we enjoy doing together. And it's kind of something we can all, bond over a little bit and then have some fun doing. So we kind of just organically formed in that way, and we've been rolling with it.
Nice. Are you picky about, or I don't want to say picky, but are you cautious about which places you will bring them and which ones you won't?
I don't think that there's a place that I probably wouldn't bring them. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. We kind of go off of what they're comfortable with. Like, we never push them, put them in a situation where they don't feel uncomfortable. Like, as a parent, like, we're very in tune with our children, I feel like, just naturally. Mm-hmm. And, you can kind of pick up, and my kids are very vocal, like all children are. But we kind of respect, like, what they're comfortable with and what their comfort level is. So I can't say that I can't think of a place or a location that I wouldn't not go to. It would just be within what they're comfortable with.
And in this part too, we really, a lot of their interest comes from the stuff we do at home, the conversations that we have. They're really interested in like the tools and the ideas and the places that you can go, and the places that we've been able to bring them. They've been more of your kind of open air, so to speak, where it's haven't gone to that place where there's the potential of the negative. And I mean, I guess there's always that potential, but we've kept it very kind of open and exploratory for them, and kind of just like Missy said, you really see what their comfort level is, and we don't push it with them. We just we go with it, and we stop and discuss it, and we talk about it, and we try to introduce the history behind these locations that we're at, and really give them a well-rounded background. Obviously with the paranormal side, but also just the respect factor as to where it is we're visiting and what we're dealing with.
So were there certain experiences that you guys had that got you into the paranormal, or is it just because you kind of grew up with it?
I have to say, like, I can't really pinpoint like my first like experience. Like I was saying earlier, like, I've always sensed things. I kind of always knew things, like, kind of had, like, I guess just I had feelings and ideas, and I kind of dived into it. And once, like, I kind of got glued into, watching, like, sightings and unsolved mysteries, it kind of made things made more sense, and it just felt comfortable. It just, I guess, is kind of like the best way to describe it.
Validated
it doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, validated it. And so I can't really pinpoint, like, necessarily the first thing, but it just it felt comfortable. It felt good. Like, I'm just like, this is my path, and these are my people.
Right.
Yeah, and again, for myself, I feel like I almost went the opposite direction in that my interest kind of came from a place of uncomfort, where, again, I didn't know what I was looking for, but I just knew that the idea of one world ending just was so uncomfortable and unsettling that it just made me super curious, and I couldn't imagine that there was one day where things just turned off and that was it. And then so it wasn't, again, until later on when I realized that there was actually people that also had these thoughts and interests, and there was not only that, but there was ways of finding answers. So it was, kind of the opposite side. But again, not really necessarily an experience that led to my interest, but more just this overall uncomfortable feeling of, man, there's got to be something after this.
Sure.
It's got to be something more.
Yeah.
Darren wants to know from chat, do you prefer to go in cold, or would you rather do the research first?
That's a good question.
I love history, and I love just knowing that aspect of a place. So I kind of like going in with like some ideas. I don't claim to be a medium or psychic or anything. I try not to label myself with any type of anything. But it would be interesting to be able to go to some places, maybe not even necessarily like around here, but maybe like someplace different and kind of go in cold and not know what, and see like it just, I guess for just my own like thought and ideas and, my own like test my intuitive.
No, I like the idea of going in with kind of a clean slate as well. And I've always kind of said that, you look at some of these places where, these big, these big well-known locations that you go in there with this expectation. You go into the Jenny Wade house and everyone wants to talk to Jenny Wade. And, so I think for me, I think you almost close certain doors when you have this expectation of what you're supposed to see. And I think that a lot of these areas, especially these well-known kind of more attractions, become these real big energy dumps. And I think to go in there with the expectation of finding something specific, then, I think you might close some doors. But to contradict that, I also like having a little bit of knowledge so that you can kind of guide your investigation. Especially, for us, we don't necessarily dive into much of the going and helping. As far as taking calls from families and going in and we're trying to help this family. We're going in strictly from an investigative purpose when we go to places. So, I don't mind going in without the knowledge. But, of course, if we were to be going into a location where we were being asked to help somebody, then I feel like it'd be much more important to kind of know what they're dealing with, to kind of know what it is you're trying to figure out for them.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. Darren has another question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you fear? Pick up my phone. I can't read it.
I got it.
All right.
What do you fear the most of the paranormal aside from your children?
Ooh. What do I fear? It's a good question. I think, geez, I don't know. That's like a.
I don't know if there would be anything that obviously like you get like the startling, like
the
that,
jitters and
whatever, but
the out of the ordinary. But I think we're very well, we really focus in the idea of self-awareness and making sure that we're in control of a situation. Setting boundaries, setting the intentions. Really trusting your feelings and your instincts, and not putting yourself in a situation that you don't feel comfortable. So I don't know. I think for me, I'd have to wait and see when it happens.
If there's something crawling towards me,
that too.
That might kind of freak me out. Something crawling up the wall.
Yeah. I always get a chuckle, and you watch some of these, and you hear some of these stories, and they're just like, right before bed, this creature crawled across the ceiling and was just staring at me. So when I woke up the next morning, I'm like, wait, you actually fell asleep? Like, I don't know that I would be able to go to bed at that point. So, I don't know. I think I've yet to find the thing that really would give me that fear. Maybe that's out of ignorance, or just the fact that I haven't had that experience that really made me fear it.
I don't think it's ignorant, because I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid of people and animals.
Sure.
Like, I'm not, it's paranormal wise, like, I'm big on setting my intent and, going in knowing and not go. I don't go to places when I am not emotionally sound, if you know what I mean. If I have other things going on, so I do. I don't think that's ignorant.
It's funny you mentioned that. Missy and I were talking last night about this thing where there's this fear of like demon and possession, and I think of it like, man, there's people that are far more terrifying and that do far more heinous acts than you see in the afterlife. So I agree with you. People are what can be scary and as opposed to the unexplained.
Yeah. What about you, Kelly? What are you most afraid of?
I kind of get what they're saying, is that I don't know that there's necessarily anything that I'm afraid of, but I think that there's a necessary caution that has to be in place if you're going to be going into locations that have activity. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't want to say that. I don't know how to say this other than to say you always have to be somewhat on guard, but it's not because I expect some sort of like demonic attack, but you have to kind of be prepared for anything and on guard if for no other reason than the physical aspects of the investigation that you're on, to make sure that you're not stepping in holes or stepping on a piece of floorboard that's not sturdy or,
definitely.
There's so many aspects of it, but, yeah, I mean, I think my biggest fear, if I had to say what it was, it's when I have other people on investigations with me, making sure that they're okay.
Yeah, you definitely feel like you have a responsibility, especially if it's something that you brought someone into.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they can say that they've got their own, but at the end of the day, it's like anything. If you're hosting a guest, you feel partially responsible. So I can definitely see that part of it too.
Well, and you can get those times where people come in and, like Shay was saying, they maybe aren't emotionally stable enough to be there, or they're just not set up to do this, or they're not mature enough to be there. And those are the ones that are hard, because it's like you have to have a certain level of stuff to be able to do this, in my opinion, anyways.
Definitely.
No, definitely.
I'm missing something.
So Darren's first question actually, what do you do for protection before investigations?
I call in my guides. I ask for protection from my spirit guides. I also will sometimes I'll carry crystals, amethyst, certain different other types of crystals, just to kind of keep me grounded, level-headed. We went to the Admiral Perry, and we've gone to a couple locations where we were actually able to spend the night, like in either like a hotel or something like that. And I would set up an altar, and have a part of that to be kind of for like protection and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I think, for me, I think as much as I appreciate and really dive into the metaphysical side of it, for me, as far as like a protection, I would say just really, it's almost like when you go into a location and you do your base readings with your tools. I almost, for me, myself, try to do a base reading with myself, and really just kind of understand where I'm at, mentally, physically, get a good sense, get grounded, get a good sense of the environment so that I can better judge when that changes and react to it. And also, like Missy said too, I've got some stones that I bring with me and keep on me, and so little things, but a lot of just more kind of inter protections and just setting those boundaries and staying grounded.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, it cut out.
We're here.
Okay, I thought somebody was talking. No, I could hear.
Not that the rest of us could hear. What do you have going on, Shay?
The ghost.
The voices in my head, they're getting loud, man.
I was going to say, that's either really cool that you're catching an EVP through your headphones, or you should up those psych meds.
I told you to be quiet. Sorry, see, this is what I mean. I'm just me. Let's see, there was one more question, but...
there was. Let me find it.
All right, thank you.
So, another question we have is, what's your favorite outside of the box experiment you guys do that hasn't been seen before?
Oh man.
I don't know. For me, it's something that I personally like to try to do in every investigation, and I don't know that it's necessarily not been seen before, but I come from, like, my personal background is music. Like, music's been my first love for as long as I can remember. So, and I've been really kind of trying to dive into the use of singing bowls and introducing sound energy into a space, and really just see if you can kind of lift the vibrations and elevate the energy within a room through sound. Again, not that that's not been seen before, but I think that for me might be the most kind of outside of the box as far as not your everyday scientific or metaphysical tools that you can use.
Yeah.
Anything? Yeah, don't yet.
Oh, Richie keeps on throwing me underneath the bus. I would probably say maybe like one thing that I have done before when we went down to like the Bridgewater Triangle, when we've gone to Gettysburg. I leave offerings. Sometimes, like, depending, I didn't in Gettysburg, but when we were in Bridgewater Triangle, I kind of did like a quick burning of some cinnamon, mugwort, lavender, sage, just kind of as like an offering for those metaphysical purposes. Kind of the same thing down in Gettysburg, tobacco and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, funny too. Quick story on that. We last summer we were up in the White Mountains on a overnight camp trip, and the kids had gone to bed, and Missy and I were out by the fire. And it was a just kind of a nice night, but a cloudy night. And obviously with 3 kids, we don't get a ton of time to kind of sit, relax, and stargaze. So we were wanting to take advantage of it, but nature wasn't quite working with us. And actually that night, Missy did one of her offerings within the fire, and just to witness it, kind of from my perspective, like within 10 minutes. All of a sudden the clouds completely part above us just in our area. And not only do we get this beautiful star show, but we actually shared our first potential UFO experience where we saw some very unexplainable light anomalies that took place in the sky. So it was, again, from myself, who kind of looks at it from more of a scientific background, it was really interesting to see that process take place. And I can't explain it any other way. Maybe it's coincidence, but I can't say it didn't work.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys get into, as Matt calls it, UFO hunting?
UFO hunting?
No, not as
not
much,
on purpose.
Not on purpose, right? No. I think it's one of those things that when we're as going back to, like I was saying before, as a kid and not really having that first experience, the area that I grew up in. I was my house was set back in the woods a little bit, and I remember my bedroom window had a very clear night, panoramic view. And as a kid, everything in the sky was a UFO. Every star, every plane, terrified me. It was terrible. But no, as an adult now, I appreciate it for sure, and I'm 1,000% believe in it. It's just not an area that we've kind of look to investigate into, but I would never downplay it, and I'm always up for that experience too.
Yeah, we love hearing experiences and definitely. Talking to people and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's kind of nice within this community because there's so many people that have those resources where you can bounce things off of and try to find out more information and hear their
connection between everyone's so quick to call an experience a paranormal experience, and then you start talking to these people that have had these encounters and these UFO experiences, and you're like, well, wait a minute, that's not so far off from, I could easily have called that a paranormal experience. So it's kind of cool to see how they kind of intertwine and can be mixed together, and it's all relative.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know about you guys, but for me, and not saying that the people who go out actually looking for UFOs and all that don't legitimately have experiences, but I like the stories like the one you shared where it's like we were not at all looking for it, not at all expecting it, and here's what happened. Because it almost in my opinion, it brings almost more validity to the story because you weren't looking for it. It goes back to if you're looking in a picture because someone says, do you see the ghost in this picture? Well, now you're looking for it. So you're more apt to see something where, if you're just driving home from work one dark late night and all of a sudden you see a falling star that stops moving, changes direction, and speeds off in a different direction.
Yes.
Yeah. Stopped me in my tracks because I don't know that I was a believer before that. So.
Oh, no, definitely. That's I think that's one of the best experiences to have when you're just not. And again, I have that same mindset with the paranormal when you get something that's so unexpected that you weren't having that power of suggestion where you kind of manifested it to be what you wanted it to be.
Exactly.
It becomes such a more powerful experience.
And for anybody listening, again, I am not downplaying. If you go looking for it and you've seen something, I just think it's
what happens natural and unexpected.
Sure.
I get that. I understand. The closest I've come to, as he calls it, UFO hunted is when we were at Rutland Prison Camp, and and we were waiting for some teens to leave to go back up to the route. We're at. So, have you guys been there?
No, that's not in Math, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So we were waiting for some people to leave so we could go up to the other building. And so me being me, sometimes I never shut up. Believe it or not, I talk a lot. And all of a sudden, Matt yells at me, "I'm never taking you UFO hunting again." And I'm like, I didn't know we were UFO hunted. So I think there might have been a shut up in there. I'm not really sure. But so I don't know if I can officially say I went on a UFO hunt or not. Probably not. But, you know.
Sure. Does it count if you don't know that you were actually on?
Well, yeah. Maybe if it was more than 10 minutes, it might have counted. But even if I didn't know. But so we're going to switch gears here in a few minutes. And we're going to start talking about podcasting and shows. But before we do, I want to play a game with you guys.
Sure.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
It's not that hard.
It's horrifyingly hard. It's terrible. This determines your entire future, you guys. So don't get the answers wrong.
Hey, why not? Swing.
Yeah, we have to be honest. You're coming to the Paranormal Buzz Radio family, so we have to be honest with you. We tell all guests, don't worry, we're not judging you, but we silently are.
Judging you.
Oh my God, Richie, you better not mess us up.
Total judgment here.
All right.
Deferring all my answers.
Yeah. No, it's simple. It's like 5. I added to it. It's 5 or 6 questions, and you just got to pick which one suits you better.
Okay. Multiple choice. Okay.
Yeah. Just
makes it easier.
Yeah. So I'll pretend there's no right or wrong answer. You know.
All right.
Sure.
So
wink, wink. There's no right or wrong answer.
Wink. Yeah.
This started because these were questions that I always asked every guest, so I just put them into a game and made it really quick. So both of you just throw out whichever word. It's really
and
easy.
And you don't have to agree.
No, you don't have to agree.
Right.
You don't have to agree with each other. You have to agree with me.
Oh, that's what I meant, yeah.
Perfect.
You do have to agree with us.
No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
No.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Investigator or hunter?
Investigator.
Investigator.
Okay. Data or evidence?
Evidence.
Data.
Okay. Provoking or no way?
No way.
No way.
You already kind of answered this one, but residential or commercial?
Ooh.
Commercial.
Yeah, commercial. Yeah, definitely.
Orb or dust?
Dust.
Recorder or video?
Recorder.
Demon or just an asshole ghost?
Just an asshole ghost.
See, that wasn't that bad. I just like teasing people.
Not bad at all.
How bad did we do? Are you guys judging us?
Only one of you failed.
Oh, yeah.
It's obviously you.
I know.
We can't tell you which one. You'll find out later. Oh. Just kidding.
Just kidding. Let's see. Before we go on, I just want to throw out a few shout-outs. We got Jennifer in there. We got Darren in there. We got Matt in there. Mama Deb. I don't know why Eye of the Beholder's there. Some girl named Kelly's in there.
Who's that bitch?
I don't know. I hear nasty things about her.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one sharing that information, though, so you know.
Yeah. If I missed you, I'm very sorry. I just wanted to do that now. But, okay, let's talk about... You guys, right now, you have a Facebook Live show?
Yes.
Yeah. We do one on our on the Facebook Paranormal 5 Facebook page. We try to do it every other Wednesday. We were doing monthly meetups in our so we weren't able to do those. We did try to squeeze in a couple this summer, like social distancing friendly. So then we kind of decided to do the live since we were so bummed out that we weren't able together with people. So they got to hang out and just watch us talk. But yeah, so we try to do that every other week. And then we have a weekly one that we do with our friend, Tom, from Essex County Ghost Project that we do every Monday with him. So, yeah, we like doing it. It's hanging out.
That's pretty cool.
Make ourselves look like fools, but we have a good time doing it.
Welcome to my life. That's, I hear it's more entertaining when you make a fool of yourself.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's fun.
So you guys are going to be starting up a new show with us here. Hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully January.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Yeah, you guys want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so, kind of, and it touched more, it's kind of an extension off of our lives. We started this about a year or so ago when we moved up to the area we live in now, partly because, we were just looking for like-minded people that, that we could kind of get to know and kind of start a group of just people that enjoy each other's conversation. And then also this idea of, we kind of took this idea about this paranormal community thing and really wanted to run with it and give, when you realize that there's so many people that have these same interests that might just not have an outlet to go and talk about it or embarrassed or, just don't feel comfortable in a regular group setting. So we kind of...
Or almost just bringing other groups that have different techniques and ideas and being able to bring them together for like a common, area, to be able to kind of have a place where we can all get together and chit chat and talk and, share experience, bounce things off of other teams and other groups. It's amazing. And that's kind of like the idea to kind of dive deeper into it with.
Yeah, with the radio show. And I think that's kind of what we're hoping to kind of, so we want to kind of take that idea of, bringing attention to other people that are within the field and have this incredible knowledge and have these great stories to tell, but also kind of mix that with our love for New England lore and New England history and just the things. I mean, there's so much right in this awesome area that we live in, and there's so much to talk about and just dive into and things to learn. So we kind of want to blend those two together and look to bring on, guests that again that are well versed in the field and that are and have really good tools and trades and tricks of their own and experiences to kind of share and just kind of just continue that idea of unity and collective thought process.
I like that. Do you guys learn from other people even when they don't believe the same thing as you?
Yeah,
definitely.
One example is that I was so anti the spirit box. I'm just I can't get my head around it. It's just noise. It's driving me crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm still a very healthy skeptic, but being able to do a few investigations with people that have use that and seeing their techniques and how they're using it. I am not, like I said, I'm still a very healthy skeptic about it, but it just, it kind of opened up my eyes. I kind of learned a little bit more. I wasn't so poo-pooed on it.
Another good example for us was we were invited along to a home investigation, and the claims and everything from the woman were house-based, and throughout the investigation, and watching this other group do things the way they did, it really took a turn and turned into more of a land-based activity, and then we got to see how they go and actually cleanse the land and address, so it wasn't even about the home anymore or the homeowner, it was about the land that their home was on, and then seeing the way that they handled that scenario, and yeah, I think you pick up little bits and pieces and you try to intertwine that maybe with your, I think it's good to be open. I think I've always said that I think people in the paranormal world can be very bullheaded, in the sense that I think that a lot of people have
putting it nicely.
Yeah, that they're very strong opinions, which is good, but I also think that it's great to be open to other people's strong opinions and be able to kind of use them as checks and balances. Again, I never really gave much thought before to the metaphysical side of investigating, but now that I've seen it in play and I've experienced with it myself, it's another great tool to add to the toolbox.
Right.
And it's just, so just being open to these different experiences, I think there's a lot you can learn. And there's no experts. I always say there's no such thing as an expert in this field. And so there's always opportunity to learn and grow. And if people can help you with that, then that's awesome.
But I think it's important, you're saying be open, and absolutely you have to be open to experiencing the things and listening to what other people have experienced in the field. But I know you were saying that you're a skeptic and maybe that's not the best thing, but I think any good investigator, any good intuitive has to have a healthy level of skepticism, because if you don't, when that skepticism leaves you and you think you can do no wrong and you think that you know everything, that's terrifying. You have to have that skepticism in there. So I don't think that's a bad thing to be a skeptic, whether it's a device or an experience or a picture or somebody else's methods even.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah, I think it helps in the grounding process. It helps kind of keeping you in check. You know, if you are in a situation where you're looking to help a family, the worst thing you can do is just go in there and terrify them even more if there's no need for it. So, I think healthy skepticism is definitely something that we take into consideration and utilize. And, I think, and again, it gives you more validity to your evidence. If you catch something and you can, and you've done everything you can to explain it away and then you just can't, well, now you're left with something.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because there's so many people who want to believe there's always something. There's a million groups on Facebook, and I'm part of this one group where people are constantly posting pictures. What do you see here? And I got my butt chewed because I'm like, guys, there's this thing called pareidolia, and you have to be. It's your human tendency to see an image within something meaningful within what you're looking at. That does not mean that there's always something in every picture. And when you guys are constantly finding something in every single picture you find, you have unvalidated everything.
Absolutely.
And when they blow it up.
Yes.
I've literally talked about this subject, and I'm not the one who's brought it up, on every single show I've done in the past 2 weeks. And that I think I've done 6 or 7 shows in the past couple weeks, and everybody keeps bringing that up.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. And the other thing that I told him is something one of you guys just said, reminded me of it too. Everybody's jumping on there. Oh, I see a man. I see a woman. I see a this. I see a that. And I'm like, have you guys ever thought about the fact that maybe they're looking for you guys to tell them there is not something in the picture so they can sleep at night?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Again, when every bump and every tick of the K2 meter becomes a demon, it's just you're not doing them justice, you're not doing yourself justice, you're not doing the field justice.
Yeah.
And again, that's not to say that people don't. Some I always find it funny that when you have these investigations and you always find something bad and negative. And,
right.
It's and I just, again, for me, in having that healthy level of skepticism, I just. Why would that be the case? I mean, why would it always have to be something negative? I mean, I'm sure there's equally as much positive and to find. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Everybody knows how I feel about that. They don't want to hear me because I'm right there with you.
Yeah. But then you get those rock star pictures or that rock star EVP, and it's just like, oh my God, that is amazing,
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And that's what it's all, like you said. And if you flood it with all the guessing and the non-truthful stuff, it takes away from those big captures and those big experiences.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Anywho.
Yep, I agree. Do you guys do Facebook Lives on your investigation, or do you watch them?
We did a Facebook Live when we went to the Admiral Perry in a couple weeks ago. It wasn't anything crazy.
We kind of separate them. Yeah. So we just because again, I do like the idea of being able to share things with people that might not be able to get to these locations or have that opportunity. But also, when you're in the actual investigation mode, I think taking your focus away to be able to make sure you got the right angles and that you're describing things. I mean, it takes your mind out of the game.
Wait, we're supposed to be watching angles when we're doing Facebook Live?
I don't know.
There are so many shots on the floor. Yeah. There are so many shots of floors and walls and ceilings when I'm doing things because it's just like, ew, this is happening over here, but the camera is pointed this direction. It's like, okay.
I know I've been blind like a couple times when we were down in Gettysburg this summer. Like mostly just during the day. I wanted to do it with the kids just so people could see like the kids investigate because it's so fun like seeing it through their eyes and just watching them. It's just it's a riot sometimes and how serious they get, which is awesome. But it never happened. But it's fun. I think it's awesome that people that can do it. Like I can't multitask.
I can't either. I'm with you.
Gettysburg.
And I always forget we're live, and I say stuff.
Oh, sure, right.
You know, I would even if I remembered, I would probably still say 99.9% of it. But you know, so don't hate me. I forget the name of your podcast that's starting.
Maybe you should ask the producer. Oh,
wait, she forgets too. This is awesome.
Oh boy, no. So it's going to be Parapeats New England.
There we go.
And again, it's just kind of with this idea of focusing on it's as much as like it's fun for us to go on and talk about our interests. It's just what we're really looking to do is to get other people involved and give them a platform.
Yeah, definitely hear from some folks that we've met. It's amazing because we've met so many amazing people along the way and have been able to get so many awesome new friendships along the way. And that's like probably even better than anything else. Yeah. Like that's probably the best thing that's come out from this is just the connections and the new friendships.
I remember we had a conversation a couple months back and it was based on that. And it was just this like, oh wow, realization that it's such a open network and friendly community when you start really kind of getting more involved with the social aspect of it and the networking and the connections. People are so open and they're so accepting and everyone's got a story and everyone wants to talk and everyone wants to cheer on the other person. Again, like I said, I still stand by that it's a very hard-headed field to be in, but I also think that it's so accepting and everyone just seems really excited for everybody else no matter what they're doing.
I also think it's a good way to show true paranormal unity, if that's how you want to word it, and show other people that, hey, I don't agree with you, but hey, let's talk, let's learn from each other.
That's some of the best conversations. I mean, one of our best lives are, bringing our Ouija boards out and let's talk about Ouija boards because right away you're going to get 50-50 split down the middle as far as how people feel about them. So those are great conversations to have because again, there's no right or wrong answer. There's no expert. There's no nothing. And it's all based on your personal experiences and opinions. And that's cool. It's cool when you don't have to be better than somebody else. You can have your own opinion and run with it and share with other people.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what they say about opinions?
What's that?
All right. The saying is, everyone has one. There we go.
Yes, just like other things that everybody has, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're drawing the line, Shay. That's where you're going to draw this line.
I had a moment that I had it in my head, and then they asked, and I totally forgot the exact wording. So, that wasn't because I didn't want to say asshole.
Yeah,
opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah, I forgot the name of her show. That tells you. In my defense, I've only made one banner and only typed it out once. But the look on her face when she was like, "Shit, what is it? Where's my phone?"
It's the same look I get at the doctor's office when they're like, "Okay, and what's your kid's birthday?"
Jesus crap.
There's too many of them. There's too many numbers to remember.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, trust me, I get that.
Oh, I've given the wrong one before, and they're like, "I'm just not seeing your kid." I'm like, "What?"
I've done that before too.
Oh, that's not right.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh my god," I'm just trying to remember. I try to make it like excuses, and "Oh my gosh, I've been so spacey today."
I can beat that. Matt might have to help me out with the exact age, but I think it was around 7. Caitlin thought her birthday was May 4th because that's what I taught her. and her birthday is actually May 3rd, but my twins are September 4th, so somehow, and they're only like a year and a half apart, somehow the 4th got stuck on her, so
oh my
for a
God.
long time, she thought, yep, she was not happy when she learned that it was wrong, so. It's like
oopsies.
She's the baby, so you know that's the one.
By the time we get to the babies, we just don't have the energy to do it.
I know all the time. Third child, I'm sorry, you're on your own.
I can tell you the times my babies were born, their due dates, everything until I get to Caitlin, and Caitlin's like,
poor baby girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, Caitlin, in my defense, I was in labor for 10 days with you. Like, I'm like, yeah, she didn't want to leave my side inside me then, and she still doesn't want to leave my side now.
Outside now, right? Oh, man.
Oh, man.
See, I told you, we go down the rabbit hole here. I love the fact that you brought up metaphysical, because you guys have never met Kelly before. Kelly is one of the best psychic mediums I've ever met.
Oh, good praise. I like it.
Yeah. So she's not gonna say it. So I figured I would. She's really good.
That must be like a common occurrence, because Missy's the same way. She's like, I won't ever admit. I'm like, why? Like, it's a gift and an ability you have. Of course you can.
It's just hard. I mean, because there's so many people out there who have got abilities, and there's people who can do different things far better than me, and it's a weird thing to say. Yeah,
no, I say that I'm my biggest obstacle.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I am my biggest obstacle, and then I hear other people saying stuff, and I'm just like, crap. Well, I feel like I was just about to say that, but I was just so nervous to say anything because, it's very hard.
Yeah, and that takes time. I mean, that's the only thing that my advantage that I have is that I've been doing this for so long at this point that most of the time I'm fairly confident to spit it out, because I've got to the point where I'm okay if I'm wrong. Right. Which happens.
Because everybody's wrong can happen. Sometimes.
Yeah. But, I've found with spitting stuff out and just saying, hey, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm hearing, more often than not, it was accurate. And that just takes that time and experience and validation. So just keep going.
Yeah. I had an experience up at Parsons Field. I volunteer there on Parsons Field Seminary. And I was picking up on something, seeing, sometimes I get pictures in my head of, actors or actresses or people that look familiar to me that are just kind of just really random. And that's how sometimes I feel like I picture things. And so that's how I will describe what I'm seeing or whatever. So I was trying to talk to the woman that is the head there, the board director at Parsons Field. And I told her, I was like, have you ever seen this movie? And I went into the details about it. And she's like, no, I don't think I ever had. And as we are walking into the building, there's a picture of the man that I just saw. And I'm just like, oh, my God, that's him.
Yeah.
So it was just a kind of a cool connection. I'm just a random story. Sad to share.
No, I love Parsons Field. It's one of my favorite main locations.
Oh my God,
Everything
I love it.
About it.
I love Parsons Field. I love volunteering there, and I feel like every time that I go there, I get like a new feel, or there's a new experience. Like, we heard footsteps walking in the hallway while we were trying to do something in the school, in the actual schoolhouse. And Jan, the director, she kind of looked at me and she's like, did you hear that? And I'm just like, yeah, I think somebody was just walked into the building, and we opened up the door and nobody was there. We checked everywhere. Nobody was there. And she's like, we've got visitors. You want to come and see us today? But yeah, no, I love it.
Help us non-East Coast kids. What is Parsons Field?
Parsons
I should know
Field,
this.
I was just there in October, helped with that event. I was down in the basement. It's where we always do the nursery rhymes for the little kid spirits, and we always get on-demand interaction.
What was it?
What was what?
The area or the building?
The Parsons Field was the first seminary here in America. It's I don't know the date. I should know the date. I've been there.
It's okay. I was just curious what it was.
Early 1800s. When it was built, it's on the National Historical Registry buildings, and it's just a beautiful spot, beautiful location.
Yeah, it served as a stop along the Underground Railroad as well. And what's cool about this place in particular, and what always gets me when we start talking about it, is as great as the building is and the activity, driving out there, I would say it's like you're leaving. It's nice. You're leaving 2020, and you're driving back in time, because it's just got this really kind of rural farmland. It's beautiful. These old style houses,
beautiful architecture. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It really is, and it's Maine in a nutshell. It's such a great way when you think of Maine. It's what I like to think of the ride out there, and it sets the whole scene before you even get there.
Yeah.
It is.
Definitely.
It's really a great place.
Yeah, it's a great spot. It's probably one of my favorite places just to be. Just the atmosphere, the vibes, the energy. It's cool.
I haven't been to too many places in Maine, but I love that place. I mean, I've probably been to 6 places in Maine, and that's with my memory, but I love that place.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
crazy interesting.
Yes. I'll remind you after which one it was, Kelly. If I go into more detail, you'll remember.
And I remember you talking about it and stuff. I just wasn't ever sure what it really was.
Oh,
so.
Okay. Yeah, because I never explained that part. We only have 9 minutes left.
Flies.
Matt says 1832.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
he has a question mark. I think that's a question mark. So
yeah. I think he's not 100% sure, but we're going to assume he's right.
Yes.
Sounds like a good year.
Speaking of brown nosing, that's because Matt is always right.
Right? Always.
He's never been wrong in the 20 years I've known him.
I'm not even sure. I'll just agree with you.
Yeah.
How could he be? I mean, he's Matt.
He's Matt.
Exactly.
Darren says, welcome to the network. Awesome guest. Awesome show.
Oh, well, thank you. We're super excited.
Yes. And in case we forgot, the show is going to be the second Monday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. We're just not sure when it's starting. The start date might not be the same, but eventually that's where it will be. Yep. Kelly, I can't read that last name. Jennifer, who's been in the chat all night. I can't tell if that's a U or an A.
I'm not exactly sure how to say it.
Yeah,
Jen. Is it Monroe? Yeah, Jen Mon. Gee, she's gonna get mad.
You know who it is, though.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know.
The last part looks like Bo, so I'm thinking it's like Moreau, but
yeah.
Jen's
a part of
Maine. Slaughtering that.
Yeah, she's a part of the TAPS group here in Maine.
Yeah.
She says Paranormal 5 is always, all capital letters, a good listen.
Oh, well, thanks, Jen. We love you. I know, we love Jen. She's one of our biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Support and awesome.
She actually, she was a huge part of, so last time we were able to go to Parsonsfield, it was the first time that we had hosted a group event.
I know, we did an event.
We did a fundraiser for Parsonsfield, and we brought Jen along and
Luke from their
group, and it was just, they were such a huge help, and we were so just like, oh man, this is so much bigger than we had expected, and they helped keep it all good and level for us, so they're awesome.
Oh, that is awesome. So if they love you, Jennifer, we love you.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last question of the night.
Bad.
And
is this the T for question?
Yeah, anything goes. This show is explicit, so if you can live with saying it, we can live with hearing it. We've gotten all kinds of answers before. This is one of Darren's famous questions. It's now asked on every Paranormal Buzz show.
All right.
Live ones, anyways. What is the one object in the whole world you would never want haunted?
Object I would never want haunted?
Yep.
Ooh.
A knife.
Maybe my bed. Would that be? Would that?
I would never want to.
My bed. Like, I don't know.
I would never want to sleep in a haunted bed. But I was thinking more of like a knife. That would just creep me out because I'd be like flying through the air.
That is true. Yep.
Jennifer,
Jennifer said toilet seat. Toilet is the number one answer. Actually.
Oh, I could see that. That would turn bad. That'd be ugly.
I don't want this shit. Poof.
Yep.
Oh man. You know, and I can almost see that happening too. A quick little backstory: a few years or many years ago now, we were traveling. We used to go up to the White Mountains like every year, and there was actually a news story that came out. There was this guy that just had a weird. He would find himself in the. You know those. I don't know if you guys ever go up like 302. Or, if you're out in New Hampshire, going up like 302, the Kangamangas up that way. They've got these little outhouses that are stationed along the road, these little wooden in-ground hole dug outhouses.
Shared this disgusting story.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, that could be haunted. And there was a guy that got caught hiding out down inside of them, and I'm just saying, so that could be a candidate for a haunted toilet. Once he passes, that was his thing. Who knows? But
ew.
There was a real person hiding in it? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
I thought I hallucinated.
He was caught and prosecuted.
Ew.
Oh,
yes.
He deserved to be caught and prosecuted. Freaking dumbass.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. I'd rather go to jail.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
Yeah, if that was my only option, I'd be like, I'm over here.
Yeah, I'd be up. Nope, take me now.
Oh, man.
So, before we go, can you guys throw out where everybody can find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find us on Facebook at Paranormal 5.
Yep.
You can find us on Instagram also at Paranormal 5. And we also have a website that has my blog, and that's at paranormal5.com.
Yes.
Awesome.
We have yet to dive into the Twitter world.
Yeah, I'm all set with Twitter.
So, for clarification, is it 5 spelled out or is it the number 5?
Yes, it's 5 spelled out.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for anybody who's looking.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Kelly. She's always got me.
Yeah.
Good night, Kim. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yes, it was very fun.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we go? Anybody?
No, that I can
just
think
again,
of.
Thank you guys for this opportunity and just for the opportunity moving forward and joining the team and the network and just looking forward to more of this. Sure.
Yeah, you'll have to come back.
Definitely.
I know an hour doesn't cover a lot, and it doesn't always seem like a lot, but when you have 18 million different things going on, it is a lot.
Yeah, it's tough to find that hour sometimes. It really is.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
After an hour is when I'm just like, and I gotta start wake up, slap myself.
Yeah.
And before I forget, guys, we are off for the next 2 weeks. Obviously, next week is Christmas, so we won't be here. And January 1st...
So your Christmas present is you don't have to listen to us.
Yeah, and New Year's, because we're off for next week, too. So, yeah, you don't have to listen to us. But everybody's going to miss us.
I was going to say, but we'll miss you guys.
Yes. So, yeah, I think that's it. Kelly, you have any announcements?
Let's see. So next weekend, Christmas is next week, right? Yeah. So next weekend, Traveler's Moon will be at Edinburgh Manor with some friends. So there's a potential that we'll be going live while we're out there. So be watching for that. Edinburgh Manor is always fun. This is our annual Let's Go. Yeah. It's our annual Let's Go Freeze Our Ass Off at the end of December trip. But we love it and we wouldn't miss it for the world. So although we're trying to talk Reese into having a different birthday because that's why we go out there then. So other than that, I don't know that we have a ton coming up. So, other than keeping going with our podcast, we got some fun stuff coming up.
Yes, we do. So we're taking 2 weeks off, and then we don't have another break until the spring, sometime after the spring. So
that works.
Yes. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, a happy,
you guys as well,
healthy, and a better New Year.
Yes, 2021. Hey, it can't go any worse.
Oh, bite your
Don't
tongue.
say that. That's exactly.
You ruined it.
I will come stalk you now when it goes all to hell in a
Get him, tell it.
All right, guys. Good night. We will be back in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you.